The Brightline is officially coming to Tampa. Yes, you heard that right. The Brightline is finally coming to Tampa. This long-awaited project, this long-awaited initiative here in the state of Florida is officially coming to Tampa. And the people of Tampa could not be happier. The people of Orlando could not be happier. Just the people of Florida in general could not be happier than to see this project finally coming to fruition. They obviously haven't even broken ground yet, but it has been confirmed that Brightline will finally be building an extension from Orlando into Tampa. Today, we're going to talk about where I feel like there should definitely be stations. Yes, I'm saying stations plural because there should 100% be more than just one in Tampa. So let's talk about it. Now, this has not been confirmed by either Brightline, the state of Florida, or the city of Tampa, but I think we can all deduce that there will be a Brightline station in Ybor City. If you're unfamiliar with Ybor City, it is a satellite neighborhood just to the northeast of downtown Tampa, and honestly, it's within walking distance. So it's really not that far of a distance, but if you know anything about it, it is a historical hub in the Tampa Bay area, and it has unfortunately come to be known as a pretty controversial area due to its lack of safety, due to its pretty grungy atmosphere, but it's always been a place that I have loved. And so I want to see Ybor stay Ybor, and I do actually think that a Brightline project could help clean up the area a little bit, but we also are seeing some signs of gentrification in the area. There's tons of new development happening, and it's also at the forefront of the Gasworks project in the city of Tampa. Now, I'm sure people are probably wondering where the hell in Ybor is an entire Brightline station going to go? I do feel like it's most likely either going to replace Tampa's Union Station or they're going to build it somewhere right along Nucio Parkway where there is a decent amount of space. And so eventually what's going to happen is it's literally going to be right in the epicenter of the future Gasworks project. I really don't see them putting it along 7th Avenue. That would just make no sense from a traffic standpoint because it's really only like one-way roads or single lane roads. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to put it like in Ybor proper. Nucio Parkway is still considered Ybor City, but it's also close enough to downtown Tampa and Channelside or Sparkman's Wharf, whatever the hell you want to call it, to be centralized enough. So that's where I feel like that station should go. And look, while I'm very much, a part of Tampa's whole idea of like keep Tampa Tampa, like quit New Yorking my Tampa, don't LA my Tampa, I do feel like it's time for, Tampa's Union Station to have a facelift. It already has rails that come in and out, and I think it'd be easy enough to connect the Brightline rail to the already existing rails. And I just think that they should tear that down, put the Brightline station there. I know that's going to piss off a lot of the, older railroad companies like Amtrak, for example, right? They're going to try to keep that station there. But I just feel like it makes a whole lot of sense for the Brightline station to go right there along Nucio Parkway. I can't see it going anywhere else in Ybor. Another really solid place I could see them putting a Brightline station, this would be pretty controversial because there's so much industry in that area, but would be somewhere like along Adamo, near 50th, right there by like Mannheim and Tampa, where a lot of the steel mills are and, where all that industry is taking place. I think they could really come in and like clean it up, move those businesses elsewhere, and then just redo that whole area. It's still Ybor. I guess it's considered Dixie Farms, but it's Ybor. Let's just be honest, right? So right there around 50th Street, Adamo, I feel like that would be a perfect area because it's wide open. You got the Selman Expressway right there. You've got pretty easy access into Channelside, Sparkman's Wharf, downtown Tampa, and Ybor. And then like if you needed to absolutely get to Riverview or Brandon, you've got Selman that could get you there, right? And then you've got Selman that gets you to I-4. So I think that area makes the most sense. But as I mentioned earlier, I would like to see it maybe along Nucio Parkway. I could see that being a very realistic place. I can't really think of any other place in that area where they would put a station. Okay, so that's Ybor. So the next place I absolutely think there should be a Brightline station is somewhere near Tampa International Airport. While I think it would be great to actually have a Brightline station at TPA, just like there is at MCO, I don't think it's going to happen just from like a traffic standpoint. And also, I don't necessarily think TPA wants a train station on its pristine and beautiful campus, which I totally agree with. So I think maybe somewhere like along Boy Scout Road, somewhere near International Plaza, across the street from all of those restaurants and apartments. And I just think it would make a lot of sense to put one along Boy Scout Road. What I also think would happen in this area by putting a Brightline station there is I think it would put more of an emphasis on pedestrian walkways. And while there are sidewalks and, stuff like that, I think that there's a real chance to allow people to walk from the train station to International Plaza, walk to a Bucks game, right? It would help free up a lot of that traffic that absolutely plagues Tampa Bay Buccaneers games, right? Any, musical event or concert, or even the Rays are playing over there on Dale Mabry now. It'll help free up a lot of that traffic because people are now able to actually just walk from the station. People that are coming from out of town can actually just walk. So that's allowing less vehicles on the road. All right, so we've got Ybor City, which also includes Dixie Farms. We've got Tampa International Airport. The final place where I feel like it makes a lot of sense for the Brightline station to go, it is a little bit controversial, not exactly the most exciting area, but I do think building one right off of I-4 somewhere around the Seminole Hard Rock Casino and the Florida State Fairgrounds. There's tons of open space in that area. There's lots of great opportunity for development, and it's also right there along I-4, and it's close enough to get you into Tampa and get you to the airport. And in fact, if I was a representative of the Seminole tribe, I would actually be pushing for Brightline. I would be networking with Brightline as much as possible to see if this could actually happen, right? If this could come to fruition, because think of the amount of people, right? You're stepping foot off of a train, off of the Brightline. You've got the casino, you've got the fairgrounds, tons of great opportunities. It's just a really wide open space. And so, yeah, those are the three places where I could realistically see the Brightline station being. It's most likely going to end up in Ybor, somewhere around that Nucio area. But I do think, right there off of Adamo and 50th, where those old steel mills are, that is like the perfect area, right? Mannheim is never going to give up its land. But if Brightline was to somehow convince Mannheim to close its doors, right, and just move somewhere else, there's plenty of open spaces in Tampa, and utilize that area, oh my gosh, that would just be incredible. It would be amazing. It'd be close enough to downtown. It'd be close enough to Ybor City. And you're also right there off of the Selman Expressway to get you to where you need to be. Now, I'm sure people are probably wondering, Troy, why wouldn't you want one in St. Pete? I never said that I wouldn't want one in St. Pete. Just think about the logistics, though, in St. Pete for a second. First off, you got to build a track across Tampa Bay to get there. It's not going to happen. They're not going to invest that money to do it. As much as I think that they should, sadly, unless some foreign investor comes in and completely funds the project, Brightline is so underwater right now, they just don't have the money to even foresee that type of extension happening, right? Just getting from Orlando to Tampa is difficult enough for them. But now you're talking about going from Tampa to St. Pete, building a rail across Tampa Bay. It's just not even something that's in the cards for them. I do think that it makes a whole lot of sense, and I would love for an investor to come in and support a project like that. But it's not going to happen. Therefore, St. Pete, sorry, you're not getting a Brightline station. So yeah, a lot of great stuff in the works for the Tampa Bay area. Super exciting times. I know it is sad to see a lot of the changes happening throughout Tampa. I just really, like I said in my last video, talking about how Tampa sucks. I want to see Tampa be successful. I want it to be a great American city like it has always been. In my opinion, it's always been the realest Florida city. Miami's got its thing. Orlando's got its thing. Jacksonville, you don't even exist to me. No disrespect. Tallahassee, we don't even talk about Tallahassee. So let me know where you would like to see a Brightline station in Tampa. I do think that Orlando also needs a second Brightline station. I might do a full video about that. But it honestly makes no sense for there to not be a Brightline station, at least somewhere on International Drive or on Disney property. Disney made a major mistake by not taking Brightline up on that idea. It makes a ton of sense to have a Brightline station somewhere on Disney Springs or maybe somewhere on Earl Bronson or somewhere close enough to the parks. I don't know what Disney was thinking there. It was probably political, or, Brightline wasn't greasing enough hands to push something like that through to the finish line. But I do think that Orlando does need a second station, and Tampa honestly needs a second station. So with that being said, let me know down in the comment section below where you would like to see Brightline stations in the Tampa Bay area. I don't care where it is, right? If you say something along the lines of like Apollo Beach, you're a clown, right? If you say Clearwater Beach, you're a clown. I'll be open to it. Prove me wrong. Let's have a real dialogue in the comment section, but I look forward to hearing your insight onto where you would like to see Brightline headed. Thank you all for the continued love and support. Golden Daddy loves you. Please like, share, and subscribe this video to as many people you know moving to Tampa, living in Tampa, hating Tampa, loving Tampa. Doesn't matter. Love you guys. Miss you guys. Take care. Thank you. Mahalo for watching.